Hello and welcome to our Freebie Friday video. Sade here. Today we've been asked to talk a little bit more about reverse mortgages and how they impact a surviving spouse. So reverse mortgages are those types of mortgages that are giving out to people that are older than 62 years old, and they are a way for a person to tap into the equity in their home rather than taking out a conventional mortgage. So the homeowner in this case does not actually borrow money and then pay every month. What they do is borrow money against the collateral, which is the home, and then the bank pays the homeowner a lump sum amount right away based on the calculations on the equity and other considerations. And also the bank might choose to pay installment payments every month instead of a lump sum amount. The borrower has a say in how everything is set up, and some borrowers choose a line of credit, and some people pick a combination of a line of credit and installment payments. So line of credit just means that, let's say I'm already pre-approved for $100,000. It doesn't mean that I take the money right away. I might have that line of credit open and then draw against it as I need when I feel like I have medical bills or anything like that. So that's how the reverse mortgages would work. And most of the people do take the reverse mortgage out in one spouse's name. Some people take it out in both names, and some people take it out in one spouse's name, but also make sure that the other spouse is mentioned in the loan documentation. And so the treatment after the death of the first spouse depends on how everything is set up. The treatment of the surviving spouse. The surviving spouse always has rights. And the law did change in 2014 when there was a big case that came out against the federal government's rules, because those mortgages, the reverse mortgages, most of them are backed by the federal government, by the Federal Housing Administration, FHA, and the government then had so many other things that said that the loans were due upon the death of the borrower, and that put out a lot of surviving spouses that were either younger than 62 or didn't have any idea how to take over the loan after their spouse died. They couldn't pay it right away. So the law changed in 2014 to ensure that people had at least 6 months to be able to figure out what they wanted to do. So the surviving spouse always has 30 days to figure out what they want to do, and then 6 months to close on whatever transaction it is that they choose to do. So they could decide to sell the house and pay back the reverse mortgage. The spouse could decide to stay in there if they qualify, because their name is already on the loan paperwork, or they're over 62 years old as well and qualify on their own. And sometimes they can qualify under other conditions, so they will just have to talk to the lender to see. And then the third thing that they could do is actually just turn over the keys to the lender to say, well, I don't want to do anything about it, just have the collateral. Because these are non-recourse loans, the lender can only go after the collateral. They cannot go after anything more than the value of the house itself. And if the surviving spouse does decide to actually pay back the loan, they're only obligated to pay back 95% of the appraised value at the time. So let's say the house is worth $100,000 on the appraised value. The spouse could say, hey, I'm giving you $95,000 to pay this off, and that's that. And they could do that. So, and then they get to keep the home, of course. And so that's how that works. All right. So there are several different options that the surviving spouse could take, but that depends on each person's situation. And the surviving spouse has to notify the lender, this is what I would like to do, and then pursue that path for 6 months. They can have up to 6 months to do it. If they need an extension, they can always ask for an extension as well. And a lot of the times the lenders would agree with that. So it's not a big of a deal anymore. It's not that big of a deal. And then I've seen some surviving spouses that decided to refinance on their own. So they went to another lender, got the money, paid off the reverse mortgage because of the interest rate difference. So really think about it when it comes to what's best for you and your family, and then go that direction. So that's the only thing that I could cover in this video right now. If you have any specific questions regarding your situation, make sure to talk to a lawyer, or you can call us and we'll be happy to answer those questions for you. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you next time. Happy Friday.